said, Raj, Goodman Anand, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the opportunity, and really good to see you and see you in the podcast.
Absolutely. So, Raj, before we go over everything that you're working on now, obviously with Goodman Lantern, which is the company that you own, if someone was to ask you, rewinding the tape of your business journey, and all the things from your backstory to where you are right now, what would you say was the pivotal or catalytic moment for you that kind of set you down that path where you peeled back the layers of the onion, and before you knew it, Goodman Lantern was born, and fast forward 8 years, almost 9 years later, here we are. What would you say that moment was for you?
Well, I think, firstly, thank you for the lovely question. I would say the biggest aha moment was when I got our first sale through SEO or content or storytelling. Just to kind of rewind back, prior to Goodman Lantern, I helped a company grow from 7.5 million to 40 million in revenue in the back of great content and SEO. And when we had that first sale and the opportunity to actually not only sell it, but get the money up front before building the actual product, was when I was like, aha, okay, there's an opportunity here. Actually, there's a lot to be said about telling great stories, engaging with customers through content. And that's when I realized that the power of what SEO can do, and what content can do for a B2B business, especially when it comes to high-tech companies. We're talking about telecom organizations, fintech, um, you know, big money SaaS companies, for example. There's a big opportunity there too, because every sale that comes in, adds a million or two to the revenue. So, well, whatever effort can you put in to get that sale leads to a great ROI, return on investment. So that was the aha moment for me.
Now, with everything that you're doing now, obviously getting the experience of getting that first sale, prior to starting Goodman Lantern, from the previous experience you had working for other people, what would you say was the biggest attribute or lesson that you learned in working for someone else that enabled you to grow the business that you now currently have?
Yeah, so I think the one thing I will say is that I've always been entrepreneurial. Even within a company, I would just go there and sort of think of it like, okay, it's 9 to 5. I'll do my bed and I'll get out. I will always, my day will start at 6 a.m. and I'll finish at like 9 p.m. and that's the pleasure. I'll continue working if I have to. I think it's important to think about that. Number two, and I think it's super important, is to think about something more than just yourself as an individual. So, for example, my mission, and you'll see that in my company, Goodman Lantern as well, my mission is to empower women in technology and marketing. So much so that today we have 80% plus women in our company. And the aim behind that is to leave a legacy, to help create something which will stay beyond my time on planet Earth. And for me, that is empowering women. I think that what powers me. That's what wants to want me to wake up early, work late, work hard, work smart, empower my team to be the best version of themselves, for example. I think it's super important for especially business owners to think about a legacy, something more to motivate them and to keep them on that journey.
It's having, I would say, a North Star, so to speak, in anything that you do, whether it be in life or in business, is so important. But having a passion, a vision, a mission behind that is also very important, because, again, I think there's a lot of things that can get clouded. I mean, you have seen over the last decade or so the expansive growth the online space has gone through, and how much noise and how much traffic is going on each and every day with whatever someone's mission and vision is for what they have. And it's really important to understand that And, you know, with everything that you're doing now, content marketing, content creation in general is a significant thorn in a lot of people's sides, because they're like, well, what do I post? When do I post? How do I write it? You know, what's good content? You know, what's going to engage people? For the novice content creator that's listening to this episode and they're just wanting to get started, maybe they're not at the level to, you know, work with, you know, myself and my wife and our company, or maybe they're not at the level to work with you and your company. If you were to give the best advice to that novice that's sitting in the room right now with us of how they should get started in creating content that markets themselves and their business and their brand the right way, what's the best of advice you have for that person?
I would say the best advice anybody would have in content is to just get started. I think it's a lot of challenges which we offer ourselves as individuals or as businesses, and that is that classic analysis paralysis. And I say, jump right in. It's super important to just get started with it, because once you get started, you'll find opportunities to better yourself and to improve that experience. Um, the the amazing thing about marketing in today's world is it's so data driven. You can actually put stuff out there and see what's working, what's not. You can do something called A/B testing. So you put two versions of the same um, form of content. Say you, for example, put a long form blog and a short form blog. You can see what works better for you. You can try different headings or titles for your blogs, for example. There's so many opportunities which this ability to actually try stuff would offer. Number two, there's so many YouTube videos, for example, and blog posts to learn from stuff. You can actually teach yourself. There are courses out there you can learn stuff from. So I think the first thing you kind of do here is to, you know, if you are in that mindset of learning and growing yourself, you got everything you need. It's not the time, you know, 20 years back, you have to go and buy a book. You won't find the book in your local bookshop. But that's not where we are today. Today we have everything on the internet. It's about how hungry we are as individuals. Um, so that's one. Number two, March 2023 and beyond, when this podcast was live, you know, AI would have become the staple for initial content generation, especially in the SME market. I would say in the corporate market, AI would be still very difficult to use because most corporate customers will have a very um, sort of thorough brief. And at this point, and for many years to come, I would say AI would be a bit hard for AI to kind of really get that brief and change this around. There's a lot of stuff which AI should learn about what you require as a company. But for generic blogs, for example, generic content or LinkedIn or Twitter, um, I think AI can be a great starting point. You can use things like ChatGPT or OpenAI to generate content for you. You can generate images for yourself with the likes of Dolly and Midjourney and whatnot. So there's a lot of stuff out there which will not only push you to learn stuff, but actually they'll do it for you.
On the subject of chat, you know, GPT, um at the time that we're recording this, it's mid-January, and chat GDP has been running rampant for probably the last month or so. They're the fastest company or search engine to reach 1 million users. They did it in 5 days. And the company at the time that you and I are talking about this is valued, I believe they said, at $29 billion already. AI is another one of those things where things are rolling right along. They're progressing. They're becoming more impactful. They're becoming more advanced. There's a fear that AI, as it continues to grow, scale, and improve, that it's going to take the jobs of copywriters, of content creators, of of, the things that some people are outsourcing now because they can just put it into something like ChatGPT and it's going to be done. So for you yourself, obviously you have studied, I mean, you don't just know about AI, you went to school and studied AI. What is your take on all of the things that are going on right now with the hubbub with AI, and as best as you can over the next 6 to 12 months, rounding out 2023, where do you see AI going, not only for this year, but advancing and moving into the future?
A great question there, Scott. So, I mean, so AI is a very vast topic, and within that, there's the thing called machine learning. In machine learning, you have something called neural networks. Um, these tools are uh, actually taking some of the great work which has been put in the last 50, 100 years or so, and to use that to with the machine power we have today to run these opportunities to actually train your machines to behave like human beings. And that training with pretty much taking all the data from like search engines like Google and putting into the training material has led to the state where now initial research work or initial content stage of content can be produced through AI. Um, Many would describe it as the second industrial revolution, where the first one, imagine a room full of like people who are hand doing stuff, for example, were replaced by machines, and then you have the machine operators taking over, and it happened again. And happened again and again in human history. It hasn't happened in human history, and happened again in the future, where we will have replacements of machine taking over our roles and we need to reskill ourselves. So yes, for basic content, for basic initial research, AI is fantastic. I recommend that we all use it. Um, but there are some caveats. Number one, the end product is not always ready to go live on your site, especially if SEO or search engine optimization is an important part, because Google is smart enough to figure out what's written by human beings and what's written by machines. So it will catch people and it will mark them down. That's one. So everything which is done by AI should be then reviewed by a real person. That's super important. Number two, it's not ready yet to take complicated briefs which are designed to hit a particular style guide, for example, have inside knowledge of a company which is not available in Google. That all still needs to be done by human beings. A bit like today, you have sort of hand created high-end uh, luxury goods, and then you have the off-the-mill generic content of, well, not content, but products, for example. So there's a parallel to that where we are today. And we'll have that for always will have that because this is just the way, you know, what the ambition of AI is and what the reality is in terms of getting stuff done. So yes, AI is powerful. Yes, AI can really help us cut time, but it still needs real human intervention in the middle and at the end always.
It's the human touch aspect, and I think it also goes into the outsourcing that a lot of business owners do, right? No one knows someone's voice better than themselves. And,
Hmm.
People think it's crazy because I still produce and create all my own content myself. Every video that I publish, even the editing of my podcast, I have it down to a science now. And I talked about this with you in the pre-show. I'm anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks ahead with episodes. So there's zero stress. I'm always ahead of the game. Now, moving into everything that you're doing now with Goodman Lantern. Well, first, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about what your firm does and what makes it different from other firms out there?
Sure. Thank you. So Goodman Lantern is a team of content creators. We help our customers sell better and grow faster. Um, our focus really is I would say primarily on the tech industry. So we work with high-tech companies, for example, in in software, in telecom, in fintech, manufacturing automation, mainly public companies and the ones who are looking to grow fast in that sort of scale-up stage. And we help with the strategy, the content creation, and then content distribution. That's where we kind of add value. Um, yeah, that's what we initially do. And what makes us different is our focus and expertise in that space of technology and writing. Our editors are between 10 to 20 years plus of experience in the space and can write content with a lot of insights into the space itself, content which converts better.
Now, as far as ideal people that Goodman Lantern works with, if someone's listening to this podcast and they're thinking about, am I a good fit for Goodman Lantern? Who's the ideal person or company or corporation that's a best fit for you guys to get them the results that they want?
Yeah, I mean, typically our customers would be companies which are growing fast in the space. Either they have been around for many years or they have raised a bunch of money, for example. And most companies we work with are public companies or are companies we're looking to go public eventually, and they need that content to kind of help them with the expertise. That's where we kind of really add value. And we can help end to end with content. Um, Saying that that's a main niche, as it were. We are also launching another offering through AI, as it happens, which is called Humanify.ai. So we actually humanify AI content. We take content generated by AI and we use real editors with a lot of experience in this space to help edit that and then provide that content to the customer. That's our SME offering, which we're launching with the help of AI.
Awesome. Now, with all the companies that you've done work for, and if anyone visits, your website, goodmanlantern.com, it shows all the different companies that you've, done work with. Some are very familiar, some are not. Of all the companies that you've done some work for, which not, I would say negating the others, but which experience with what company was most impactful for you that helped you realize that you guys are doing something much different, but definitely, I would say, kind of changing the game in the content marketing world, where it kind of gave you that street cred and that confidence to continue to move forward?
It's, I think, really hard to sort of pinpoint one organization, and it'll be unfair to do that as well for our customers. But what I'll say is this is a general trend we see is, um, and it's just normal. It's how humans behave. So we have to make sure we kind of start with customers somewhere, showcase the actual value we create, and then grow that opportunity. Um, I mean, there's one case study you'll see on our website for easy storage. Now, if you're from the European market, so you stay in Europe, for example, you'll see the Easy brand everywhere because they also own the Easy Jet, which is like, I don't know, our sort of most popular low-cost airlines, and then they own like bunch of other uh, sort of sort of Easy branded services. And we work with one amongst many of their sort of brands. One of this called Easy Storage. We can store stuff on in their thing. They come pick up the stuff and then store it and then give it back to you when you're ready to receive it. And we increase their sort of ranking, organic ranking dramatically on the back of great content. And we would, doing in the hundreds of content pieces per month for them. So um, the important bit over here, or the aha moment here, is that when you plan stuff properly, that's when SEO really can grow. I think many a times customers, just come in and say, "Oh, we're going to grow tomorrow," but that's not how SEO works. Unlike Google Ads, for example, SEO takes time to get it right, but it's a gift that keeps giving. Once you invest in SEO, it will give you gifts or give you results or leads or sales for years to come. And so it's about investment and planning. And as I say planning, I'm thinking about keyword planning, competitor planning, USP planning, understanding what to offer where. That's when things become different. And so I invite your audience and your listeners to think about SEO as a long-term strategy. But because it's long-term and it's painful doesn't mean that you don't have to embark on it. In fact, if you want to make yourself stand out and be a long-term player, I suggest investing in the long term.
I'm all about the long game. The get rich quick things out there, they burn out quicker than people realize. So, business, much like life, is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You don't want to rush through it. You want to take your time if you want to do it right. Now, Raj, if people are wanting to learn more about you personally, or Goodman Lantern online, what are the best ways that people can learn more about you and the company?
Sure. So obviously you can visit my LinkedIn, Raj Goodman Anand, or my Twitter, which is Raj Anand, so twitter.com/Raj Anand. Company information again on LinkedIn and goodmanlantern.com. So yeah, we just Google it. I mean, we eat our own dog food, so we are well optimized for SEO for a lot of different terms, including Goodman Lantern, obviously. So if you just Google it, we should be able to find us very quickly.
Awesome. And all of what Raj mentioned will, as far as how to connect with him, how to find him, will be in the description of this episode, so you don't have to look too far. So, Raj, final question before we sign off today. What does success truly mean to you?
For me, success means to achieve goals for us. When I say us, it's community. For my team, for me, for my customers, it's all together. Success means something where we put our aims and ambitions into a mix and make sure that all of us can grow together. Because it's not fun growing on your own. It's only worth it when you all grow together. So that's one. Number two is when success is about more than just making money. I think I see a lot of these sort of podcasts and stuff. I hear a lot of these where it's all about money. What's your worth? And I think that's overrated. When you have a lot of cash with you and you're lonely, the money's not worth anything. I think it's about a fulfilling life. It's about having a holistic life where you, your family, and your business all growing together and you're all fulfilled and happy. So success is more than just money. It's about that holistic mix of happiness and being content.
Could not agree more. I always tell people the money is a side effect of the lives that you impact in a positive way. So you impact a lot of people in a really positive way. Obviously, you're going to have what you want, but it's about living for right now, not looking too far ahead, not looking in the rearview mirror, just looking straight ahead. Raj, just want to thank you so much for coming on to the show today. I know so much of the audience is going to take so much away from this, and just really appreciate the knowledge that you shared, and the time that you gave my audience. Said Raj Goodman Anand, welcome to today's episode.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you for the opportunity, and really good to see you and see you in the podcast.
Absolutely.